Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
We will begin lecture number 3 on Surah Al-Fatiha. This is the final lecture on Surah Al-Fatiha. Previously, in lecture number 1, we introduced Surah Al-Fatiha, and in lecture number 2, we completed our discussion on the translation and interpretation of verses 1 to 5 of Surah Al-Fatiha. In this lecture, we will cover the translation and interpretation of the last 2 verses. That is, verses 6 and 7 of Surah Al-Fatiha. Let's start with verse number 6. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful.
Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim.
Translation: show us the straight path, meaning the way of thinking, action, and behavior in every aspect of life. That is absolutely correct, free from misjudgment, wrongdoing, and the risk of a bad outcome, so that by following it, we can achieve true success and happiness. This is the very request we make when we begin the study of the Quran. The servant presents this request before their Lord, saying, "O Allah, guide me in every aspect of life, and at every turn." In response, Allah Almighty has presented the entire Holy Quran to this seeker of guidance, offering direction in every aspect of life. And at every turn, saying, "This is the guidance you are truly seeking." The next verse is number 7.
Sirat al-ladhina an'amta alayhim, ghayr al-maghdubi alayhim walad-dallin.
Translation: not the path of those who have incurred your wrath, nor of those who have gone astray. The path of those upon whom you have bestowed your blessings, who have not incurred your wrath, and who have not gone astray. This verse specifies the characteristics of the straight path. In this, one thing is absolutely clear: O Allah, guide us to the path of those who have been blessed, as only the blessed ones are those who have not incurred wrath, and have not gone astray. Here, we need to explain the matter with reference to 3 types of people. Who are the blessed ones? Number 2, those who have not incurred wrath. To further clarify this, we need to see who are those people who have incurred wrath, and number 3, those who have not gone astray. To further clarify this, we need to see who are those people who have gone astray, so that we can understand the prominent position of the path that Allah Almighty has indicated, and the path that has been specified for the seeker of guidance. What is its detail? First of all, we will talk about the blessed people. We need to see and understand who are those people upon whom Allah Almighty has bestowed blessings. In this regard, the best example is found in Surah An-Nisa, verse number 69, where Allah Almighty says that
وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا. Whoever obeys Allah and the Messenger will be with those upon whom Allah has bestowed blessings. That is, the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the righteous. How excellent are these companions, who are available to someone. In this verse of the Quran, we find 4 categories of people upon whom Allah has bestowed blessings. Number 1, the prophets. Number 2, the truthful. Number 3, the martyrs. Number 4, the righteous. By prophets, it means the messengers sent by Allah, whereas by the truthful, it refers to those people who are extremely righteous, who possess a high degree of truthfulness and honesty, who choose a straightforward and clear path even in their own interests, and when they support, they only support truth and justice. If they find something against the truth, they stand firmly against it, and do not show the slightest weakness. Such people are called the truthful. The original meaning of martyr is witness. It refers to a person who bears witness to the truth of their faith through their entire way of life. A person who is martyred fighting in the path of Allah is also called a martyr for this reason, as by sacrificing their life, they prove that they sincerely believed in what they had faith in and valued it so much that they did not hesitate to give their life for it. Such righteous people are called martyrs. The term righteous refers to those people who are steadfast on the right path in their thoughts and beliefs, in their intentions and purposes, and in their words and actions.
Now, let us see, who are the people who have been condemned, meaning those upon whom Allah's wrath has descended. They have come under the severe displeasure of Allah, which will be clarified by the explanation of the phrase
غير المغضوب عليهم.
From this, understand its historical identification that we find in the Quran, which is Judaism and the Jews, upon whom Allah's wrath was sent down. Behind the descent of wrath, there is actually a list, or charge sheet of the crimes of the Jews, on the basis of which the Jews are subject to Allah's punishment. The Jews were actually the chosen people of Allah, and were an extremely fortunate nation of their time, but their deeds, their wickedness, and their mischief turned this fortune into misfortune. We will, God willing, mention the charge sheet of their stubbornness, rebellion, mischief, and wickedness when the opportunity arises. However, what is intended to be mentioned at this time is that this nation, due to its stubbornness, rebellion, mischief, and wickedness, came under Allah's wrath. The words of Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 61 are
وضربت عليهم الذلة والمسكنة وباءوا بغضب من الله ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون النبيين بغير الحق ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون.
Translation. Eventually, the situation reached a point where disgrace, humiliation, and adversity were imposed upon them, and they were engulfed in the wrath of Allah. This was the result of their disbelief in the signs of Allah and their unjust killing of the prophets. It was also the result of their disobedience and their habit of transgressing the limits set by the Sharia. Therefore, we have come to know who those people are, upon whom Allah's wrath was descended. Now let's clarify the last word of verse number 7.
ولا الضالين.
The word is an Arabic word which translates to going astray, becoming lost, or being misled in Urdu. If we search for the same word, in English, it translates to misguided. If you look at all these words, in one context, you will find that they all mean the same thing, going astray, or misguided without intention. If you look at the words in one context, you will find that they all mean the same thing, going astray or misguided, without intention. A person who loses their way without having a destination, and someone who does not even intend or plan to lose their way, but still does. In this verse, Allah Almighty has taught a comprehensive prayer to those individuals of the Muslim Ummah who intend to come to the right path, to protect them from losing the straight path. And in particular, two nations have been pointed out. The first is the accursed nation, which intentionally or deliberately, due to stubbornness, rebellion, mischief, and wickedness, came under Allah's wrath, meaning the Jews. Whereas with the word
ضالين,
we take an example of a nation. We find in the Quran the example of Christianity, which lost its way. However, losing the way was not due to any intention, will, stubbornness, or rebellion, but rather due to the intensity of love. They deviated from the path of moderation that Allah had set for matters. For instance, in their love for Allah, they chose the path of monasticism, and along with this, that nation exceeded the limits. In their love for their prophet, which Allah had set as the circle of love between a prophet and his community, the Quran has identified this love as ghulf, which means the state or condition of exceeding limits, or going beyond. This can also be referred to as excessive, exaggeration. In their love for their prophet, Christianity invented the doctrine of the Trinity. God is one of three penetrated. Whereas the Quran has declared this belief as associating partners with Allah and has given them a warning in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 77.
قل يا أهل الكتاب لا تغلوا في دينكم غير الحق ولا تتبعوا أهواء قوم قد ضلوا من قبل وأضلوا كثيرا وضلوا عن سواء السبيل.
Translation: O people of the book, do not unjustly alter your religion. Do not follow the imaginations of those who went astray before you and led many others astray and strayed from the right path. Therefore, regarding the invention of the doctrine of the Trinity, Allah has given a warning to Christianity in the Quran. It is understood. Who is meant by the words
ضَالًّا,
that is, Christians. Surely, you must have understood, which is the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your grace, not those who have incurred your wrath, nor those who have gone astray.
Alhamdulillah.
Today's lecture is complete. In the next lecture, we will introduce Surah Al-Baqarah. Let us join the mission of the practical struggle for the dominance of Allah's religion based on the movement of understanding the Quran. May Allah support and assist us in this mission.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.